Good day, everyone. This presentation outlines a comprehensive risk management framework for steel manufacturing and fabrication. It's designed to support a newly launched unit operating under holding company specializing in the scaffolding and construction materials. The framework integrates best practice and standard to identify, assess, and mitigate operational, financial, environmental, and geopolitical risks. Here is the main content which we will be discussing in this presentation. We'll start by executive overview, business overview, model of the business, budget of the business. Then we will start talking about SWOT, PESTEL analysis. Then we will shift for the main content about this presentation, which is risk identification and classification, evaluation of the risk modeling and metrics, risk mitigation strategy, cost of risk management, risk opportunity matrix, BCP, ESG risk management strategy. Then we'll go through the black swan, gray rhino, business model integration, conclusion and recommendation, and call action as well. We'll start by executive overview. This framework provides a full cycle approach to risk management tailored for steel manufacturing sector. As factory completes its first operational year, it's vital to address key risks across all business functions. This presentation introduced a structured model to improve resilience, ensure continuity, and align with international compliance standards. Let's take a small brief about business overview. The steel unit is located near major logistic corridors to support the construction boom in the region. The facility employs around 400 staff, mainly technical workers, and focuses on the cutting, welding, galvanizing, and painting processes, plus the fabrication. With both internal and external demand, the company aims to become a strategic contributor to national infrastructure development. Production model is ERP integrated, ensuring operational efficiency and reducing lead time. Value-added services like CNC cutting and galvanizing are customized per client needs. Governance is reinforced through transparency, risk oversight, and board accountability. The governance structure ensures decisions are well informed and risks are proactively managed. From the feasibility study perspective, relative to that project, we'll take just a brief about the budget of that business. The capital expenditure plan covers all infrastructure for the production setup by costing around 26 million, while operation expenses are projected at 22 million for maintenance, staff, and compliance. Budget planning is directly aligned with the risk priority to ensure efficient resources allocation. Here we have strategic and risk context analysis. We have conducted a comprehensive strategic analysis using SWOT and PESTEL tools. This helps us to identify our strengths, opportunities, weaknesses, and threats, as well as external factors like economic shifts, environmental regulation, and legal requirements. These insights form the basis for our risk strategy, which we use it later on to identify the risk and mitigate it as well. In this table, we can notice the main strength and opportunity what we have in the market, weaknesses and threats as well. Here is the PESTEL analysis also, which is help for risk identification and mitigation. When we look for the political, economic, social, technology, environment, and legal, for political side, we are looking for the stability of governance, low corruption, and strong trade. Economic, there is a proper vision for UAE for 2035 for diversification economic. Plus, there is inflation risk and exchange risk. In the social side, we are talking about HR and labor safety and ethical sourcing. For technology, there is opportunity for smart sensors, machine learning, and using AI in the business. Environmental, we are talking about initiative to reduce CO2 emissions and recycling the steel. Legal side, we have international standard, we have environment regulation, labor policies, VAT, ISO, and other compliance as well. Risk identification and classification. This point, one of the most important points we need to discuss in this presentation. A total of 167 risks have been identified across categories such as operational, financial, and environmental. A proper classification helps us in priority which risks need immediate attention. This steps forms the foundation of the entire risk management process. In the table in the right side, we can notice the risk category like operation risk, technology, credit, liquidity, etc. A number of risks identified. Total of the risk, as we mentioned before, 167 risks. Here we are highlighted risk identification methodology. By used several methods to identify the risk, such as internal department reviews, analysis of past industrial failures, and benchmarking with ISO, such as 31000 and ISO 45001 standards. Additionally, strategic tools like SWOT and PASTIL help uncover external and regulatory threats. Risks are spread across multiple areas, such as operational breakdowns, liquidity issues, regulatory shifts, environmental hazards, cyber threats, and geopolitical instability. Each category is linked to real business cases, enabling a focused mitigation plan. In current slide, we can find the top 25 risks from our risk register. We selected them from different type of risks. In the table, we can notice the risk type, risk description, root causes, and potential impact. For instance, machine breakdown during the work. This is operational risk, and the impact of it will be production delays and overtime costs. A spike in raw materials cost. It will affect on our gross profit margin. This is type of risk related of the market. Mismatch between receivable and payable. The impact of it, short cash crunch. This is type of liquidity risk. And this is the way how we are build our risk register for 167 total risk for our project, as we mentioned before. Related of risk evaluation matrix, risk scored based on likelihood and impact by using a scale from 1 to 5. The result matrix, it helps us to prioritize the risk and highlighting those highly urgency versus those we can monitor them over the time. Here is the evaluation and scoring for the top 25 risks based on likelihood and impact. Also, we have the example for our top 25 risks, such as equipment failure, supply disruption, compliance gaps, and market fluctuation. This list is dynamic and should be and must be regularly updated to reflect evolving our business reality. Based on that, we created the risk matrix as we seen in the color table. A green, which is not required action to mitigate. Orange color, it will be considered mid-score, and red is severe one, which is highly risk. Risk mitigation strategies. We use 4 core strategies: avoid, reduce, transfer, and accept. For instance, we eliminate risky suppliers, use insurance, apply preventive maintenance, and monitor severity risk. This structured approach ensures our operational working smooth and in a proper way. Risk mitigation involves both capital and operational investments. CapEx is used for physical safety systems, while OpEx covers ongoing costs like training, software, and insurance. The dual spending ensures long-term sustainability and protection. This slide shows risk mitigation strategy for all types of risk and the proper strategies we need to apply and adapt for risk mitigation. Estimating management costs for risk mitigation. CapEx investment, it's for risk management. These are one-time strategic enhancement aimed to reduce the risk, while the OpEx for ongoing risk mitigation, recurring costs necessary to maintain and support, ensuring continuous effectiveness for the operation and business. Here is the sample for risk mitigation cost table. We figure out the mitigation item, the purpose, type of investment, the budget of that investment, and frequency. For instance, C&C preventive maintenance. The purpose of that mitigation, reduce cost of machine failure. We consider it as a CapEx and it will cost us around 600,000 dirham. We can apply it one time. For second instance, robotic welding arm. The purpose behind of that is reduce quality risk and labor dependency. Also, this is CapEx, costs us around 850,000 dirham, and we can apply it one time. We'll take one sample for OpEx, for example, safety training and PPE. Reduce injury risk. It's OpEx, as we mentioned, costs us around 300,000 yearly. Costs are allocated across of categories: ERP securities, compliance system, insurance policies, and environmental protection measures. These investments are justified by long-term saving and reducing exposure to financial loss. Here we will show some ISO certificates applicable for our business as steel manufacturing, and it will help us for risk mitigation and risk management as well. ISO 31000, this is related of governance framework. ISO 45001, this is related of the health and safety. ISO 14001, it's environmental impact tracking and reporting. ISO 9001, that one handling the quality control and standardization. Here we are shifting for transforming the risk to be as opportunity for us, which is risk opportunity matrix. Instead of only avoiding risks, we aim to convert them into opportunities. For instance, reusing scrap steel, reducing cost and waste. Innovation, technology, upgrades, and supplier diversification are other areas where risk becomes a competitive advantage. In this table, we have around 30 opportunities suggested to mitigate the risk, and it will give us good impact for the business and operational and outcome as well. For instance, invest in robotic welding to reduce manual errors. The linked risk is a human error in the welding. The strategic value for the business is high. A second one, use solar panel. The linked risk is power failure during the production, and strategic value, it will be medium. And the rest we have 28 opportunities as well. We can adapt it to get good result for the operation and business in the future. This table shows how we build the opportunity matrix from financial perspective and time scope. To see the budget for those investment and expected ROI. Then to analyze the business status of capability to adapt those opportunity risks or part of them. For instance, invest in robotic welding to reduce manual errors. The budget for that investment 850,000 dirham. Expected ROI 2 years. Opportunity rating is high and responsible department operations. And we applying the same concept and methodology for other opportunities risks. Key strategic areas include enhancing efficiency through automation, implementing sustainable practice like solar energy, using digital dashboards for visibility, optimizing the cost through electrical logistics, and improving employee training for safety and compliance. Business continuity plan includes emergency response, IT disaster recovery, and supply chain continuity. These actions ensure that even during major disruptions, the factory can resume critical operations quickly and safely. Here is the main components of the PCP, such as emergency response, IT recovery, crisis communication, supply chain continuity, operations recovery. Environmental, social, and governance risks are managed through strong ECG policies, focusing on the emissions reduction, workplace safety, ethical practice, and compliance with international environmental standards. Sustainability goals include reducing carbon emission by 30% using solar energy and reusing the materials by applying track KPIs for energy and water use, scrap steel, and ECG scores to ensure ongoing improvement. Black swan events and risks, like sudden factory explosions, are rare but highly disruptive. In the table, we can find and identify black swan risks with the warning sign and mitigation strategy, such as total export ban on the steel. Warning sign will be raw material shortages. The proper mitigation strategy, it will be multi-country sourcing, and etc. Here is gray rhino risks, such as labor shortages, are probable but often overlooked. Mitigation includes buffer stocks, workforce planning, and supplier diversification. In this table, we can see some example for gray rhino risk identification, such as increased steel tariff on the imports. The proper mitigation strategy, we have to find some channel in the local steel procurement, adjusting the price models. Optimizing risk management in the steel manufacturing. By lean model embeds risk management into daily operations, Instead of managing risk as a separate function, we have to build them into the workflows, empowering teams to make real-time, informed decisions that improving efficiency and safety. In summary, framework is aligned with ISO standards, incorporates ECG principles, and emphasizing automation. It provides a holistic strategy to manage operational, environmental, and financial risks while supporting long-term business goals. To ensure continuous improvement, we recommend regularly updating the risk register, investing in automation and green energy, conducting the drills, aligning KPIs with all departments, and adhering ISO and compliance. We recommended management and stakeholders to adopt this risk management framework as a foundational element of strategic planning. This will drive the sustainable growth and build long-term resilience in the steel manufacturing and operations. To conclude, this risk management framework is not just compliance tools. It's strategic assets that enables resilience, efficiencies, and sustainability in the steel manufacturing operations. Thank you for your time and attention. I appreciate your interest in this important topic, and I welcome any question or feedback you may have.